Today's voiceover talent is more than just a pretty voice.
Pretty voice.
Today's voiceover talent has to be a boss.
A boss.
Join us each week for business owner strategies and success with your hosts Ann Ganguzza and Gabrielle Nistico, along with some of the strongest voices in our industry.
Rock your business.
Rock your business.
Rock your business.
Like a boss.
Like a boss.
Rock your business like a boss.
Rock your business like a boss. A VO boss.
A VO boss.
A VO boss.
Welcome, everybody, to the VO Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Ann Ganguzza, talking with my amazing VO bossty, Gabby Nistico. Hey, Gabby.
Hello.
Gabby, I know both you and I do a lot of phone consults for people that are interested in getting into the industry. And I just had one the other day, and I have to tell you, every time, if I had a nickel for the amount of times somebody said to me, how do I know I have what it takes?
Can I do this?
Yes.
Will I make it?
Yeah.
Am I going to be successful? How do I know that I can do this?
Can you tell me if I have what it takes? I think we should talk about that.
Yeah, let me get my crystal ball out and, get in touch with my inner gypsy, and sure thing. I will, I'll consult the cards and I'll tell you if you can I don't know. Here's my thing, right? So the sassy pants in me always wants to go, I don't know. Can you make it? Can you do it? You tell me.
Yeah.
You ever do that? I mean, because that's the truth, right?
A lot of times, yes, I want to say that. You know, I think, Gabby, I mean, outside of if you have an impediment where, maybe, it's hard for you to understand you. And even then, I would say you've got a good shot, right? As long as people can understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, short of that or like a really, really heavy foreign accent that would bar you from really not even doing this, but just booking jobs in English.
Yeah.
You might have to just book in your native language.
Mm-hmm.
There are so few reasons why somebody can't do this. Truthfully, you have to turn the question around.
Yeah.
It
can
you? And know yourself, right? What are your drawbacks, limitations? Like, look, I'm very forthright with people about if you are lazy, don't do this. If you are looking to make a fast buck, don't do this. If you are not organized, don't do this. What else?
If you don't want to learn.
Oh, God, right?
If you don't want to learn new things, and not even necessarily related to voiceover, but what it takes to run your business. If you do not have a desire to learn about business and expanding business and growing businesses, don't do this.
Hey, how about tech?
Yeah. Oh, goodness, yes.
Technologically resistant, don't do this.
Or I always tell people, well, you can if you want. I mean, if you've got the money to hire somebody to do it for you. You want to hire somebody to run your studio, and let you step in the studio while they hit record and do your editing and, your accounting and all the social media marketing, all that good stuff. Sure, if you can hire out that, then yeah, maybe you can. But
it's going to be a good long time before you make a profit that way, or you've just got to be really freaking good.
Exactly. And that is the rare occurrence of maybe, a certain tiny percent of the population. And even if you have amazing pipes, let's be real, it's also subjective, number one. But number two, there are some people who have really, really pretty unique voices. You can classify in that small percentage of, they've got good genes. Mm-hmm. And they have a beautiful voice. Even if you have that, if you don't have the business sense or you don't have the desire to really go out there and market yourself or to have someone market you, you're not going to make it.
I'm also very cautious of the rejection piece. If you can't handle rejection, if you can't handle being told no, if you can't handle being told you're not good or not good enough, don't do this.
There's so many things that I think are awesome about doing this that we've just mentioned that you can learn. It's like a whole new kind of territory if you're not used to entrepreneurship and building a business. There's so much of this that is such a fun journey, I think, but it's hard. It's not, we even have an episode on that, right? How hard it is, but it's not without its merits, for sure.
No, but there are also plenty of people out there who are more than thrilled to capitalize on that uncertainty and that question that so many new folks ask, and that idea of, can I make it? There are loads of coaches and companies that will gladly take lots and lots of money from you to maybe kind of sort of answer that question.
And those, of course, are the ones we always like to tell you to watch out for and be careful. So I understand the question. I understand, like, they don't want to make an investment if they don't have what it takes, theoretically. But honestly, it really comes down to knowing a little bit about yourself, knowing a little bit about how you tackle new challenges, and also a little bit of street smarts, which we even have an episode on that. As Gabby just mentioned, people that are going to capitalize on that question and telling you the answer, yes, 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 it just takes a weekend of workshops and we'll make a demo for you, and then you can make thousands of dollars or millions of dollars. Yeah, watch out for that.
The other thing I think is really important for this is that people look realistically at their individual situation. And yeah, you're right. We've gone into this topic in a lot of sort of segmented ways in a lot of different episodes, but we've never addressed it full on like this. I had an email yesterday from a woman who said to me, I'm a single mom and I have 5 kids. And I want to get into voiceover.
Goodness.
And my gut reaction was, no, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you do not.
Yeah, run the other way.
Right. Like, how? Like, that's the crazy part to me, is that there's still that romanticized version of voiceover in some people's heads. They think it's something that they can do because they have a natural or a raw talent or gift. And while I agree that that's a foundational piece, where you are in life is such a big part of whether or not this is going to be successful for you and whether or not you can do this right now.
Oh, my goodness. And, I'm always telling people who are asking me, you have to have a financial cushion put in place. And I would even go a step further to say that financial cushion has to not just be for everyday, living, month-to-month living. It also has to be for health care. So important that there's got to be some of that in place. I think before you seriously consider doing this, make sure that you have those things in place, because I can't imagine not having some sort of healthcare plan in place while running any kind of entrepreneurial business of your own. I just can't. It's scary to me. Gabby, you and I have both experienced a little bit of healthcare issues that can run up the costs like exponentially.
No doubt. And you're right. But I even look back at me when I first started, I took that risk.
Yeah. And a lot of people do.
Yeah. I mean, I was young enough that I was like, I'm fine. I don't have health care. No big deal. And, that was cool when I was 22.
Sure.
Now I'm like, oh my God, no.
Yeah.
Can't
I
do
agree.
that.
It can be cool for like maybe 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
When like a year.
Maybe when you're in your 20s. But I think, honestly, anybody that is looking to get into their own business without that plan in place, that's just not a good thing. No.
No. I hate being that bubble burster and I hate being that person, but the truth of the matter is it's not as unique a skill set as people would like to think, right? Like, yeah, getting complimented on your voice and having a nice speaking voice and, like you said, that genetic piece, sure, it's lovely if it's there, but it's not all there is.
Exactly.
Too many people rely on that, like that is going to somehow instantly equate to dollars. And you go, look at it comparatively to any other field, right? Lots and lots of people do yoga right now, and they're pretty good at it. Does pretty good mean you're good enough to go out and start being a yoga instructor and making money teaching other people? Probably
exactly.
not.
I think you just have to really come at it with a clear sense of not just the picture of, do I have the talent of what it takes voice-wise, but do I have what it takes to handle the all-encompassing business aspect of entrepreneurship that does include doing voiceover for a living? Because there's so much more than just being in the booth and just having that voice. And I know a lot of people with amazing voices that have not progressed any further in their careers because of their lack of either confidence or skill or desire to pursue the other aspects that need to be pursued in order to really grow this into a business and not just kind of a hobby where you're taking classes and you're, I'm starting and, I'm just beginning. So therefore,
I'll be honest with you. If I could turn back the clock 20 years and meet us when I was 20, I don't know that I would be doing this. Because I'm pretty sure I would talk me out of it. Because at that age, no, I wasn't prepared to run a business. I didn't have those skills. I wasn't ready for any of that. Now I learned it. I really, I think, kind of challenged myself. But had I known that was what it was going to take, oh man, I don't know. I don't know that I wouldn't have gone, maybe I should do something else.
It's interesting because when I was young, if I'd known about it, I may have opted to go that route, going for the kind of glamour of it all and hopefully trying to catch up. Just kind of that's my personality, to kind of catch up after I did it. But I would probably have been attracted to that glamorous side of it. And interestingly enough, I'm glad that I wasn't at the time because I developed the business sense of things, I think, prior to that. And like I said, if I wasn't doing voiceover, the kind of cool thing is that I've built the skills for me to go on and do whatever it is. Now that I'm an entrepreneur and been doing this full time and realizing what it takes to actually run a business, what I love about it is that now that that's established and in place, I feel confident that I could do other things. And so therefore, depending on how the industry pans out, especially with all the growth that's been happening in the digital revolution, I feel confident that, I would be okay. My business would survive.
But you are highly competitive.
Well, yeah.
That's you, right?
That's Anne, yep.
Right. That's the Anne playbook right there.
Yep.
Not everybody has that.
You're right.
This becomes, I think, part of that great exploration that comes before the talent, before the training, before the classes, to really say, how well do I know myself? Is that something I can do? There's a lot of people that don't have that competitive streak. They're just kind of waiting for the jobs to come to them.
And I don't know if competitiveness is so much what it is that drives it versus, let's say, just motivation to kind of just excel at something. I think that might have been a bigger push for me. That's just my personality, is like, okay, if I do something, I have to be the best at it. But okay, that's competing with myself. So I like to call that motivation. So if somebody asks me, do I have what it takes? Again, like Gabby, like you said, let's turn that question right around and say, do you have what it takes? Do you have the desire? Do you have the motivation? Do you have the work ethic to be able to take on something like this and handle the tech, handle the voiceover, handle the accounting part of it, handle all of the aspects of this career? And if you can kind of confidently say, well, you know what, I think so. Yeah. I mean, I feel as though I have the drive and that if I don't know it, I can learn it. I say that's a really good start.
I think so too. I also think it's worth looking at the common denominators of what makes other voice actors successful. When I think of our industry and when I think of my peers and my friends in this, they're bold personalities, right? We're all individuals and we're all different, but very bold, very memorable people for different things. And ironically, not their voices.
Mm-hmm.
It's their personality. It's them. It's who they are that makes them so memorable. And you'll be hard pressed to find a voice actor that isn't memorable and someone that you just kind of forget about 5 minutes later. That's no.
Oh,
That's
I
not
agree.
us.
Like, there's so many parallels. I think that also draws a parallel with branding, personal branding, when people are always asking, well, who should I be? What's my tagline? And I'm like, it's not about that necessarily, because we are a personal brand. I mean, selling our voice really is selling ourselves, selling a very personal part of ourselves, a service. Yeah. And so people are not just connecting with the voice. They're connecting with you. We've probably said this multiple times, right? In terms of branding and marketing, they want to connect connect with you. So therefore, the voice almost becomes secondary. The voice is really what communicates the very essence of you and connects with that listener.
Yeah. It's fascinating to realize how the voice starts to take a back seat to that. But yet, that's where so many people start putting such a heavy, heavy focus.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't think that question is ever going to go away, right? I think we're always going to be inundated with, do I have what it takes?
Yeah.
I think we have an obligation as an industry to kind of help people to understand that maybe that's not the right question to ask. And directing them to whether it's things like our podcast or FAQs or articles online. Because, I mean, gosh, we've all heard that, right? We all talk about this.
We all talk about it. There's skills. I mean, and skills can be learned. Some of them are learned quicker than others. And some people get to a point where I feel that, I don't know, we're always at different parts of our journey. It's like lifelong actors, right? If we're not continually learning and trying to enhance and improve and hone our craft, then really, what are we doing? You know what I mean?
Well,
it's I think every voice actor is truly an actor that is constantly striving to improve and get better at what they do and to connect more with their audience. And that's really kind of, I think, the cool challenge of it all. And that's what I think people have to really think about. Well, do I have what it takes to continue with that? And as you mentioned before, they don't want it to just come to them and say, well, I've got a great voice, people should be hiring me. No, it's, do you have the desire to go out and get that and to work on it and to, craft your skill and hone your craft, whatever it takes to get you to be the best representation of you that connects to a person, to connects to a listener.
When it comes to this industry, we look at ourselves and we forget to be objective. We forget about all of those little things that equal a business owner, equal an entrepreneur. And when we really start to break it down, we are able to say, is that right for me or is it not? And that's going to really help you to kind of determine as well how long it's going to take, because that's another piece that people often miss. It's just, can I do this? Well, yeah, but can you do it? Sure. But how
not going to happen tomorrow, typically.
Right. Your journey might be 2 years, 4 years, 10 years. Everybody's different.
And I keep going back to that. Everything that I read is like at least 5 years starting a business. It takes at least 5. And I always amend to it. And I say, I think it's closer to 10 these days because there's so much competition out there. And there's so much information and chaos out there for you to get found and for you to get known. Just because the whole marketing is different now. So I think it's closer to 10. And, Malcolm Gladwell, again, 10,000 hours. Right?
Amen. Well, so if you are really, really new to the industry, we're glad you're here and we're glad that you've found your way to our podcast for sure.
Right.
And then for those of you who have been at it for a while, help us and beginners, new folks to kind of steer this ship in a healthier direction so that they can kind of have better data at their disposal as to whether or not this is the right career choice for them.
I'd like to give a big shout out to our amazing sponsor. I love it. I feel like we're like sitting next to each other. I wish we were, but we're not. We're using IPDTL, and you guys can also learn how to use IPDTL like a boss by going to IPDTL.com.
And for more boss, you can go to voboss.com because we've got all kinds of fun things there for you, including swag and merchandise and webinars and classes and products that are going to help to boost your business. And, of course, there's all the social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all the places that you can find our podcast, which is pretty much every single place that you can find a podcast.
Every episode we have show notes on, and we have key takeaway points and things that you can tweet out there and references so you can find out about things that we're talking about. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you next week. Bye. Bye.
Join us next week for another edition of VO Boss with your hosts, Ann Ganguzza and Gabby Nistico. All rights reserved. Ann Ganguzza voice talent in association with 3 Moon Media. Redistribution with permission. Coast-to-coast connectivity via IPDTL.
I am recording now. Okay.
I have to do the same. I gotta move my...
All
Come here, mouse. Come here, you little bastard.
I'm going in.
Okay. I have important things to say, so I clear my throat. Where'd you go? Where are you? Making my booth smell like chicken. The hell is wrong with me? Don't answer that because there are many things wrong with me. Where are you?
Gabby?
Yeah.
Oh.
Where'd you go?
I went in my studio and I'm talking to you for like 5 minutes. I didn't change my input source. I'm like,
Oh, sure.
finger licking boss chicken.
Wow. Finger licking boss chicken. Wow.
Finger licking boss chicken.
Wow. So yeah, here I am stinking up the booth like chicken.
Finger licking boss chicken.
And you know, and I work with a vegetarian, so that's genius because he's gonna come in here and be like, "Oh my god, what the?
It's gonna be.
Why does it smell like chicken?
Booth smells like chicken. Ew.
Disgusting carnivore.
Ew.
Doobie doobie. Doobie doobie.
So you know because my husband, he's so wonderful. He wants to make me Christmas breakfast like
So cute.
I'm used to, and because we couldn't go, you know, to visit Mark and Annie.
Yeah.
I told you he makes me matzo brie, right, for the morning, which I love.
Okay.
But we couldn't find normal matzah. What we could find was gluten-free matzah, which was made with potato. And so it was really good, actually.
Oh.
1 second. Hey, Gav.
Hi.
I gotta go take care of a client.
No worries. Okay.
So,
So just text
Thursday?
me and we'll figure it out. Yeah.
yeah, Thursday I think is good.
Okay.
Awesome. Love you.
Okay. Love you. Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye.